Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since I've been on here, but thank you guys for joining me today. This is our watch list for Wednesday, June 5th. These watch lists, for the most part, you guys, come out every single day. So we're going to go through the watch list for Wednesday. I've got videos for the week, for the month, for the quarterly, all coming up real soon. They will be on the channel. They were probably going to be live videos just like this one as well. And guys, listen, what we teach here is probably different. If you're new to the Strat, it's different than anything you've ever seen before, because realistically, guys, all we're using is exactly what these candlesticks are telling us to do, and that is it. No more, no less, that's it. Okay? A couple things before we get started. This screen that you see in front of you, this is TradingView. If you don't have something like this and you need something like this, down in the description below, there is a link for a free 30-day trial. And then if you decide to use their subscription-based services, you get, I think it's up to $30 off of that subscription. But you need to start by clicking on that link. So you can do so after this video, or you can do it now and come back to the video later. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's get started on this list. We're going to go through a few technicalities of the Strat. But for the most part, this is just going to be a watch list video. If you're looking for more in-depth stuff, my channel has over 400 videos for you guys to learn from. There's playlists to learn from. I've got a Strat course in the Discord room. The Discord's free to join, but when you join the gold membership portion of that, you get the 1-hour Strat course. It is the cheapest course out there that you will find on the Strat, and it is broken down for you guys in very simple terms. You also get one-on-ones with that as well to help you with anything additional that you might need to learn this strategy, to learn to become successful the way I have trading in the stock market. So let's get started. The first on the list, and I always tell you guys, if SPY has a setup, it will always be on the list. It will always be on the top 5. How do you get the top 5? Well, that's reserved for the Griswold Gold members as well, but I'll give you a couple freebies here today. SPY for sure will be on there. And you notice the thing with SPY here. So there's a couple things. Okay, when we talk about the Strat, there's 3 actionable signals. There's an inside bar, there's a hammer candle, and there's a shooter candle. So the hammer candle has a big bar at the top here with a big long wick to the bottom, at least 2 times the size of this body. Shooter candle is the exact opposite, where we would have the body at the bottom with a big long wick, at least 2 times the size of the body. That is a shooter. So those are the 3 actionable signals. So right now we have an inside bar. The second thing we have, guys, is time frame continuity right across the board. I'm just going to switch over because this isn't showing there's a quarterly and the yearly. There we go. So again, this indicator, guys, also part of that Griswold Gold membership that I discussed. So you get a lot of stuff for that $50. You can pay for that in one single trade. Inside bars. I always tell people, if you're new to the Strat, if you're struggling with trading, the inside bars is what you should be looking at because they're the easiest to spot. This yellow bar comes with my indicator. Easily shows you guys where the inside bars are. It gives you this little IB tab as well. So on an inside bar, guys, it's a consolidating candle. It doesn't break the high. It doesn't break the low of the previous candle. It stays within the range of this previous candle. So it's consolidating, it's tightening, and it almost creates like an inverse broadening formation, or what you might want to call a flag. So basically, if we drew lines here, it would end up being like a triangle with the point of the triangle being here. And we're looking for a breakout of that triangle. So we're looking for a break of 444.08 to the upside or 442.63 to the downside. Okay, and then we put targets in, and the targets are just the high of the previous wick or the low of the previous wick. And so when you don't have the next wick available and you have what's called a gap here, okay, so then when we mark our second targets just get marked out like that, and we're going to change that. That purple represents my quarterly triggers, and you'll see a few of those on these as well. But that gap becomes my second target, and then once that gap is filled, we can just move the target down to the next lowest wick, next lowest wick, next lowest wick. Okay, so SPY for sure will be on my top 5, guys. Let's move on to NEO. If you guys have questions, you can feel free to leave them in the chat section as well. So NEO, okay, few things here with NEO again. So a 2-up that finished red. The color thing is always an issue with people. Does color matter? Yes, color matters because this color tells us there are sellers right across the board. Okay, so that's an important thing. Time frame continuity. If you don't know what this is, I created a video for you guys on time frame continuity. When we look at the color is a 2 up, right? So we've only broken the high of the previous candle, meaning it's a 2 and it's up, but it finished red. So that gives me a higher probability, and that's what we trade off of, is probability. That's what any strategy that you guys ever look at is based off of, is probability. This is telling me that I have a high probability of this trending back down. This helps me confirm that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but the high probability is there. So we're looking for calls here on NEO when Wednesday the market opens. We're going to look for puts at $9.79 and a first target at $9.59. We move on to Amazon. Amazon, same thing. Really close to getting that shooter candle that we talked about, where we have this body at the bottom and a long wick to the top. We're almost 2 times the size. It's pretty close to being a shooter candle. Okay, we also have time frame continuity. We are also trading at the top of a broadening formation. Okay, if you're new to this, don't worry about broadening formations too much. Get a hold of the candlestick numbers, the 2s here and the 1s and the 3s. Those are also part of my indicator, but get a hold of those. Get a hold of the patterns. There's only a few of them, okay? And those are in the Discord as well. I have a special room just for the patterns, and it's free to join, guys. The Discord is absolutely free to join in on, okay? There is a paid membership portion, but the majority of it, like 95% of what's in there, is free, okay? So we're looking for triggers at $130.07 and a first target at $128.95, top of a broadening formation, full time frame continuity outside of the year to see if we can trend down on Amazon. We move on to Pfizer. So Pfizer with an inside bar. Okay, so we look for calls at 36.74, puts at 36.35. And I want to show you guys something. I didn't do this on SPY, but let's go back. And all I want to do is go back in time and show you guys what we expect off of inside bar breaks. Okay, here's an inside bar. We look for it to trigger, and we hit targets. Okay, that's all we ask for. And realistically, that is what the candlesticks are telling us to do. Every candlestick tells you a story. You have to learn to read that story, understand that story, and put it to work for you. Okay, so this inside bar said if I trigger here, I am likely going to hit this target for profit, which it did. Okay, and more. Okay, if you would have held it a little longer. Now, it doesn't always work. We can go back and look at these inside bars again, but here's another one. We trended up. Here's another one. It gapped down, but we trended way down off of that inside bar. Okay, here's another one. This one didn't work. Okay, we opened. It actually did work. It hit targets, and then we reversed in the opposite direction. Okay, so it did what it said it was going to do, but then it reversed. Okay, here's one that didn't work. They don't always work, and that's why I like going back to show you guys this. It doesn't always work, guys. Okay, but when it does, it works really well. We take our profits. If it doesn't work, we cut our losses and we get out. Okay, we're going to move on to Meta. That's Facebook. We go on to Facebook. We'll zoom up here. Facebook with the 2 up that finished red. Time frame continuity pointing to the downside. So we can look for puts at 284.85 and a first target at 284.42. Again, if you guys want to leave questions, you can leave them in the chat section while we're doing this live, or you can leave them in the comment section down below. I'm on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold, so you can DM me there, or you can leave questions there. I try and send out tweets a lot. Lately, I've been giving you guys the bot trades. So live trading bot, part of the Griswold Gold membership. You can go back and look at some of those trades that I've sent out to you guys over the past few days as they come in. So they give you alerts on the 5, 15, 30, and hourly charts for you guys to just jump right in. It texts them, it sends them right to your phone. You can see the alert, you can go to your chart, decide if you want to jump in on the play or not. Datadog, inside bar, okay, so calls at 99.83, puts at 97.37. Etsy, this is that hammer candle I talked about with that basically looks like a hammer with the body at the top and the wick at the bottom. Time frame continuity pointing back to the upside. So we can look for calls here at 85.83, first target at 86.79. Pay attention to this blue line, okay? When I go over the monthly video for the month of July, we have an inside bar in July, okay? So we can look for breaks on either side. We are closer to the bottom side than the upside, but that's something to pay attention to as we move forward through the month of July. Back to the daily chart on Google. Okay, so a 2 down green on Google, full time frame, back to the upside. We can look for those calls at 121.02, and we put our first target in, guys, at 122.03. Simple as that. Top of the preceding wick. Okay, it never changes. Let's move on to NVIDIA, 2 up, finished red. Now, again, I mentioned it a little bit earlier in this video about color. Does color matter? Yes, it does. But in saying that, guys, like we could have a 2 up green like we did here on this bar right here, and we can still reverse to the downside. Okay? Is the probability less likely? Yes, it is. But we can still have that happen. So despite this being a 2 down or a 2 up that finished red, we likely still could have a 2-2 continuation back to the upside. But the probability lies with the trend back to the downside, okay? Probability. It's a very important word because, and I said it earlier, like, I don't care what YouTube video you're watching, what Twitter guy you're following, everything anybody does, any strategy they have, any strategy that they discuss, any strategy that anybody is trying to push on you is not 100%. It's not foolproof. A lot of people are not always honest with everything, and I'm trying to be open with you guys and honest with you guys. This isn't a foolproof plan. Okay? You and I could take the exact same trade, and I could be 20% up and you could be 20% down because I know where to take my profits, and you're holding on for hope because you're hoping for a bigger trade. And that's as real as it gets. Okay? It's probability based. So yes, you could hold on and hope for more. You could also hold on and lose it all. Okay? So make sure you're following what the candlesticks tell you to do. Make sure you're controlling your risk. Make sure you know what your risk is. If you guys aren't understanding this right off the bat, like I said, I have the course, but I also have videos. I have playlists, beginner tool playlists for you guys to look at, to stream through, to go through, to learn this strategy. It's very, very simple. There's not very many strategies that I've come across. This is the only one. This is the easiest one by far that I've come across that will help you guys become profitable. But you need to learn to actually follow the rules of the strategy because too many people aren't doing that. They don't follow the rules, so that's where they struggle. Okay, so XOP here has a 2 up, finished red. Normally something like this I wouldn't have on the chart because it's so, this could easily be a 2 up green, but we have a few things here. So we're at the top of a broadening formation. We have full time frame continuity to the downside. So those two things have made me put this on this chart, and that's a broadening formation that I drew there, higher high or lower lows to lower lows and higher highs to higher highs. And it's kind of followed that, to a T. We went high, low, back to the highs. Now, we very well might just continue to trend up to the top of this broadening formation and bust on through. Remember I told you about those 2 purple lines on the quarterly chart? Well, that's those right here. So that's telling me there's an inside bar on the 3-month. So we are sitting right in the middle of that. If I go to the 3-month chart on XOP, there's that inside bar, and we are currently sitting right in the middle of that inside bar. Which way is it going to go? We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. Okay, so XOP on to Apple. Apple with the inside bar, just like SPY, tends to follow SPY quite closely. Not exactly, but very closely. Inside bar on Apple, we can look for calls at 193.88, puts at 191.76. And again, you guys can go test this out on your own. Here's the inside bar. Triggered, target, and then back up. So we came through, hit 1 target, hit 2 targets, a little bit more, and then reversed. Okay? Inside bar, gapped up, but we continued up for a significant amount of time. And I'll go look back at one more here. Here's a double inside bar where we opened, came down, hit multiple targets, and then reversed back up. And that's what I mean, guys. Like, I could take this trade off of the trigger, and I could hit multiple targets here, and I could be out because I'm comfortable hitting any one of these targets and taking my profit and moving on to the next trade. Whereas you would have somebody else would say, oh my gosh, look at this thing running. I'm just going to hold it. It went this far already. How much more can I get? that's your problem. How much more can I get? Take what you've got. You know, if you have multiple contracts, you leave a runner on and have a stop loss in place, but take your profits where these candlesticks are telling you guys where to take profits. It tells you trigger, target, target, target. Okay? I don't know if there's another one in there. I guess not. That gap is filled, so your next target would have been way down here. So it reverses through that target, take your profit, okay? It really is that simple, guys. We're going to move on to Boeing, BA. So BA with a 3-1 setup, outside bar, inside bar, gives you this gold highlight. Part of my indicator as well. This is a rare setup. Doesn't happen very often, but it tends to do really well. Doesn't always do really well, but tends to have these big runs off of them. 3-1, outside, inside. 3 bar is an outside bar. A 1 bar is an inside bar. So a 3-1 setup, boom, all the way to the top. Okay, and if we go back to look for one more golden bar, that's all we have to look for. 3-1 to a double inside bar, so nothing there. Let's look for one more here. Right there. 3-1. And again, not much, okay? We didn't run to the target, but we ran enough. You could have taken profit anywhere in here. This still would have been a really good trade for you. So that's what we're looking for off of this 3-1 setup on BA currently. We are also inside bar on the weekly. I know that partially because of this yellow circle and the 2 pink lines that I've got there. That represents my weekly chart. So inside bar, looking to break out. If I go back to the daily, my trigger to the upside is, or my target to the upside is the trigger for the weekly to go 2 up, okay? So that could turn into a swing trade for you, potentially, if it trends to the upside. Watch for that. Again, while I have more people on here, if you guys want to leave questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section to the right-hand side of your screen. If you're watching this on a laptop or a computer, I'm not sure where it is, if you're watching it on an iPad or other device. 2 up red on Alibaba, full time frame to the downside. We'll look for those puts at 84.07 on Baba. And if you're watching this after the live stream, again, feel free to leave the comments in the comment section down below, or on Twitter, or in the Discord. The link to the Discord, I didn't tell you guys that, is in the description below. It's free to join, okay? Discord's absolutely free. Cisco Systems, full time frame to the upside. We had that 2 down that finished green. Does color matter? Yes, it tells us that buyers are in there. Could this continue to trend down? It sure could. But the probability, again, there's that word, probability, is telling me that this is going to trend back to the upside. Doesn't mean it will happen, but the probability is telling me that it's there for that to happen. So calls at $51.83. DIA, there's that inside bar on the diamonds. Calls at 344.53, puts 342.78. There is a gap to fill, but we do have time frame continuity on our favor to continue up. IBM, 2 down, green. There's my probability to shoot this back to the upside. Time frame continuity is there. We have the trigger at 134.35. Our first target, again, as we talked about just a few tickers back, the pink line is our trigger for the weekly, but that is also our target. So if we go through that target, that's a potential swing trade or a longer trade for us to stick in if it trends to that upside. But again, make sure you guys have your risk. Know what your risk is, okay? Know how much you want to take out of that trade before you get out of that trade. Micron Technology, inside bar, time frame to the upside. Calls, 64.32, first target marked. I want to point this out. If we do trend to the downside, okay, here's the thing. This bar right here represents the daily, the weekly, the monthly, and the quarterly, okay? So if we trend down, every single one of these outside of the year is going to be pointing to the downside direction. It's going to be red, okay? And then our first target to the downside becomes that monthly trigger. That blue line represents the month, and there it is, to go 2 down on the month off of Micron, okay? So pay attention to that for a potential swing trade. Netflix, inside bar, hammer candle, 2 actionable signals. We can look for the calls at 141.40 44, puts at 431.62. We do have that time frame in our favor for the time being. SE, 2-up red, puts at 57.33. First target marked out for you guys. We go into Shopify. This weekly candle is not right. Oh, it is right. Okay, so we'll talk about that in the weekly. But we've already trended up, 2-up on the week. And I'll show you something here that we have as part of the Griswold Strat indicator. If I go into settings, I go into inputs, I can put in the weekly 50% marker. That's that purple line that you guys see there. Okay, so this is telling me, guys, if I cross down below this 50% marker, I have a very good shot that Shopify becomes an outside bar this week. Okay, it probably has to happen on Wednesday or very early Thursday in order for that to become a strong possibility. But that opportunity exists there to play Shopify as an outside bar, or we could trend back to the upside. But based on what we have on the daily, this 2-up finish red, it's very, very possible Shopify goes outside bar. So pay attention to that as well. And that's the list, guys. So again, if I'm looking at the top 5 here, people always ask me what my criteria is. And I don't mind telling you guys, but it varies on a bunch of different things. It varies on sometimes where we are in the broadening formation, where we are if it's an inside bar, if it's a 3-1 setup, double inside bars, what the time frame continuity looks like. All that stuff comes into play. If there's earnings, that will also come into play. I probably won't give you guys a top 5 play off of earnings. So it's just a bunch of different things that I try and put together where I look at them to see what the probability is of those trades actually working out. Okay, so that's what entails the top 5. So SPY will be on there for sure for the Griswold Gold members or anybody wanting to join. That one will be there. NEO I used to have on there a lot. It's starting to have these bigger days. So NEO I used to play a lot because it used to have these big runs, okay? These 3 to 10% days. Hasn't had those in a while, but if we go back and look, we're starting to get some of those again, okay? We're starting to get some of these big runs from NEO. So NEO has a potential to be on my top 5, okay? But SPY will be there for sure. If you guys don't have questions, I'm going to check out. We're going to have weekly swing videos, monthly swings, quarterly swings as well. Those videos will all be coming out hopefully tonight. If not, they'll be out sometime tomorrow. So thank you guys for joining in. Make sure you've subscribed and hit that bell. That will give you the notifications. The bell gives you the notifications for when these videos actually do come out. Make sure you check out the videos I've got on the channel. Check me out on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as well. I'm just getting started on there. So check out all those platforms, guys. I appreciate all the subscribers, all the follows, all the likes, all the questions. I love them, okay? You guys have questions, you ask them. If you need extra in-depth help, make sure you get those one-on-ones with me, okay? I'll help you out with the strat there as well. Good luck trading on Wednesday, guys. I hope all you Americans, all my American friends, had a fantastic July 4th. Happy birthday. And we will see you guys on the next